Okay, so our lesson is about the lesson planning. Okay, so I am giving you the format of a whole sample lesson plan. Okay, so first is you have there the definition of a lesson plan. So it says there that lesson plan is considered as a teacher's blueprint of what he or she intends to accomplish. So lesson planning is a statement of achievements to be realized and specific means by which these are to be attained as a result of the activities engaged in day by day under the guidance of the teacher. Now, it says there it is a teacher's blueprint, meaning that you're going to write your lesson plan. You know, you cannot teach without preparing your lesson plan. Why? Because the importance of this is you're going to organize all your lessons para hindi kayo mawala. If your lessons is already organized, hindi kayo mawawala. Okay, so you know already what to do, okay? And by preparing your lesson plan, you can also master already your topics or your subject matter. Okay, so that is the importance of lesson planning. So lesson plan is important to achieve the objectives and attain the optimum results in teaching. So it helps in the preparation of organized lesson. Kaya nga sabi ko, you can organize all your topics, no? All the activities that you wanted to give to your students when you will write your lesson plan. Now, this lesson plan, no, is a requirement of every teacher. So this is a tool of every teacher. That is why if you're going to teach, for example, in the elementary and in high school, you need to have your lesson plan. Now, if you're going to teach in college, instead of lesson plan, you're going to have your syllabus also. Okay, so mas maganda yung nasa college, no? Kasi syllabus yung ipe-prepare. So all the content of the lesson plan is also the content of a syllabus when you will teach in college. Okay, so there are prerequisites for lesson planning which can help the teacher to achieve the desired outcome. So the first one is you have to know or you have to have a knowledge of the subject matter and familiarity with the instructional materials. Meaning that as a teacher, before you plan your lesson, you have to know your subject matter. And you also have to know what are the instructional materials that you are going to prepare. The second one is you should have a knowledge of the characteristics of your learners. So what kind of learners do you have? You know, you have already have learned the types of learners, di ba? So what are the types of learners? That are kinesthetic learners. There are visual learners, okay? So the third one is you should also have a knowledge of your teaching methodologies and your strategies. So what are the teaching methodologies that you're going to use? Okay, what strategies will you use? So I already have given you the different methodologies and the strategies. So afterwards, I will give you still as a review of the different methodologies and strategies. Okay, because this is very, very important. So we have here the different parts of a lesson plan. So of course, when you will construct your or write your lesson plan, you have to start with your objectives, isn't it? You know that already. So in constructing your objectives, you have to consider the different domains. So what are the domains? We have the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor domain. So when we say cognitive domain, it is more on the knowledge, okay? And then when we say affective domain, this is more on appreciation, the feelings, okay? And for psychomotor, we're talking of the skills. What skills would you like to give or your students will learn? So the second one, we have the subject matter. So under subject matter, of course, you have to have there your topic. So what is your topic? Okay. And do you also have a subtopic? Sometimes from your topic, you will also have a subtopic. And then after that, you're going to write also the textbook or your references. All the textbook, all the references that you have used in your topic should all be written under subject matter. And then what are the materials also that you need, no? And then what are the skills? So when we say skills, what skills would you like your students to have? Is it skills in reading, skills in listening, okay? And of course, the concepts. So let's now go to the lesson development. So in the lesson development, or what we call procedure, no? So we have the different parts under lesson development or the procedure. So we have the first one is your daily routine. This is when you will prepare already your lesson plan. Of course, you have to start with your daily routine. And then maybe you can have also a review of the lesson, or you have a motivation, and then the lesson proper, the application, the generalization, and the valuing and evaluation. Okay, so here is a sample lesson plan. So I will just give you a brief sample of a lesson plan. Okay, so you have there the first one, the objectives. So at the end of the lesson, it says there, the learners are expected to. Okay, so when you will start with a paragraph, no, like for example, objectives, at the end of the lesson, the learners are expected to. So what is your first objective? So maybe under cognitive. So you write your first objective under cognitive. When you start writing your first objective, since you already have an introductory paragraph, then you should start with a small letter. But if you will not have your introductory paragraph, then you start with a capital letter. Okay. Capital letter. Okay, so next is, of course, you have your affective domain. So this is more on the feelings or maybe appreciation. Okay, so I'll give you an example of this cognitive. So a simple lesson plan in which, so that everybody can understand and can write, no? I'll give you a sample lesson plan in elementary, for example, science subject. Okay, so under science subject, what is your topic? Okay, so there are so many topics in a science subject, okay, in the elementary. So the first one may be cognitive. So your topic will be maybe parts of a plan. Okay, so how will you construct your cognitive domain under that subject matter parts of a plan? So you start maybe by writing, identify the parts of a plant. Okay, since you have there an introductory paragraph, what is the introductory paragraph there? It says there that at the end of the lesson, the learners are expected to, so that, of course, you start with a small letter. Okay, but if you will remove your introductory paragraph there, then you can start with your statement with a capital letter. So next we have affective. Okay, ineffective, maybe since your lesson plan is all about parts of a plan. So in your affective, maybe you can have appreciate the parts of a plant, or appreciate the importance of the parts of a plant. Okay, so under psychomotor, this is already a skill. So what would you like your students to do? Okay, so since it is a skill, so maybe your third objective there is maybe you like maybe you wanted your students to draw a plant and label. Okay, so maybe in your objective there is draw a plant and label the parts of a plant. Okay, so maybe that is your third objective on the cognitive psychomotor domain. Okay, so let's now go to the subject matter. So you have there, of course, under topic, you have there, you have to write there the parts of a plant, no? And then, of course, wala ka ng subtopic. Okay, so you have there the textbook, what book or references that you have used, and then what materials will you use? Okay, for example, parts of a plant. So if you are in a rural area, marami namang plants, di ba? So gagawin mo na lang is present yung real plant. Okay? But if you are in an urban area, of course, wala kang makikitang plants. Okay, so what will you use? Maybe pictures only of a plant, and then you label the picture with the different parts of a plant. Okay, so you have there the skills also. What is skills? Okay, so example there is maybe reading. Okay, or maybe the skill is labeling, yung skill na gusto mo kasi parts of a plant. So in the concepts, you have their example is maybe the definition of terms from your selection. So what are the definition of terms which you will make use, in which your students, you would like your students to understand? So for example, leaves, okay, or stem, roots, no, ganon, no? Okay, so next, let's now go to the lesson development, or what we call the procedure. So under the lesson development, you have there the daily routine. What is your daily routine? So example, maybe you can start with a prayer, gaya ng ginawa natin kanina, no? And then after, especially in the elementary or kinder, if you are teaching in the kindergarten, so maybe you let your students greet one another, they will greet also the teacher, and so on. And then classroom orderliness or cleanliness, maybe kung hindi malinis ang classroom, anong gagawin mo? Padampot mo kung meron mga wrappers maybe, o kaya yung mga pieces of papers sa classroom. Okay. Paayos mo yung mga upuan, mga ganon. Okay, so the next is review, or that can be your motivation. So in your motivation, you can make use of a review. So when we say review, if your topic yesterday, is related to your topic today, you can review your topic yesterday. review for today, and that is for mastery. So why motivation? Because by reviewing, you can get the attention of your students, no? Okay, so that is your motivation part, or you call it preparation part. The next, after preparation, you have there the lesson proper. So in the lesson proper, you're now going to discuss your lesson. So of course, with the use of your instructional materials, you can now start discussing your lesson. Okay, so discuss now all the important topics which you wanted your students to learn in your lesson proper. So that is, you call it presentation of the lesson. Okay, so next is okay. Next, mali dito. Kasi supposed to be mauna dito is generalization before application. Dun sa una, it is generalization muna. So after the discussion of the topic or the whole lesson, you're going to generalize now your lesson, or you call it the summary of the lesson. Summarize the lesson now. What is all about the topic? You ask your students, what did they learn about your lesson? Okay. So after generalization, you're now ready to have your application. So that in your application, ano ba yung gusto mong ipagawa sa mga estudyante mo? Like for example, if it is math, for example, no? Ano yung gagawin? Maybe drill. Drill on the lesson. For example, in math. So meron kang sit work na ibibigay, and then you check if they know already the lesson, okay, master na nila yung lesson mo, yung binigay mong topic. So the next now is valuing. Okay. So in valuing, you're going to emphasize the importance of the given selection maybe. So what is now the importance maybe, since your topic is all about the parts of a plant, ano yung valuing niya? Okay, maybe importance of the plants. Okay, how do your students value? For example, nagtanim sila ng kanilang mga plants, no? O may sarili na silang garden sa bahay nila. How do they value yung mga plants na yon? Will they water every day? Will they take care every day of their plants? Ganon. Okay. And then after valuing, of course, you're ready to give evaluation. If you know that your students already have mastered their lesson, then you are now ready to give a quiz. Okay, so magpapa-exam ka na or magpapa-quiz ka na. So in here, quiz is considered as a formative, hindi yun summative. When we talk kasi of summative, that is what I have given you last time. Summative, that is, for example, the prelim exam, mga ganon, or first periodic exam, mga ganon. In the elementary, di ba, meron kayong first periodic exam. But if it is a quiz given at the end of the lesson, then you call it a formative assessment. Okay. So application and evaluation, these are two different things. Okay, so you have your application, and then iba pa rin yung evaluation mo. Okay, and the last part is, of course, your assignment. So in your assignment, you can have a follow-up of your lesson. So ibibigay mo ano ba yung gusto mo na i-master nila. Maybe the result of the quiz is not good. So you let them have an assignment maybe let them draw the plant and then label. Mga ganon. Or maybe if your students already have mastered the lesson, anong gagawin mo? Magbigay ka ng advanced lesson. Your lesson for tomorrow. Okay, so that will be for your assignment. Okay, so these are now the methodologies or the strategies. Okay, so the first one there, you have there the participatory approach. So when we say participatory, from the root word participate, no? So maybe you ask your students to participate, okay, to give or give them questions, okay, so that is participatory. The next one is photo dialogo method. This is in the basic ed, no? From the word photo already, that is making use of pictures, okay? So for example, pictures or maybe storytelling as learning tools. Okay, so photo dialogo method. Next, writing journals. Okay, you know already what is writing journals. Okay, so that is a journal is a daily record of events that happened in one's life. Okay, so yan yung ipapagawa maybe. Or reading. Oh, you know already what is reading. There's no need to expound this. Next, problem solving. So when we say problem solving, that is a step-by-step procedure directed towards a solution to a problem. A very good example of that is just like your research work. Okay, next is your role-playing. Okay, you know what is role-playing, no? Enactment of learning situation through which it depicts the real life responses of the behavior. Okay, ito yung gustong-gusto ng mga estudyante. Okay, and then lesson demonstration, that is skill, no? So you should demonstrate maybe how to, for example, in parts of a plant, what will you demonstrate there? Mag-demonstrate kung paano ka magtanim, di ba? Ayan, that is a demonstration. And then of course, you have their simulation games, like for example, inside the classroom, or how do you simulate yung, for example, election, national election. So you can have election inside the classroom. Okay, social drama. Ayan. And of course, creative writing. Okay. So may I give you this, okay, verbs, no? From Bloom's taxonomy on how to write your objectives. So under remember, you have there, maybe you can make use of the word define, list, recall, identify. So under understand, you can have restate, summarize, explain, illustrate, give example, match, classify. For apply, you can make use of these verbs: choose, dramatize, explain, organize, prepare, produce, demonstrate, sketch, solve, and use. For analyze, you can make use of this: categorize, classify, compare, differentiate, distinguish, point out, select, subdivide, and survey. And evaluate, okay, you can make use of the word appraise, judge, criticize, defend, compare. And for the last one, under create, you can construct, create, design, develop, formulate, hypothesize, invent, make up, originate, organize, plan, and produce, and role play. Now the next is the activities. Okay, so what are the activities that we may use? For example, under remembering, maybe you can make use of the activity lecture, visuals, video, audio, and then examples of illustrations and analogies. So for understand, maybe you can make use of questions, discussion, review, tests, assessments, reporting, learner, presentations, and writing. And for apply, you can make use of this, practice, exercises, demonstrations, projects, sketches, simulations, role-playing, teach back. Then analyze, maybe you can make use of problems, exercises, case studies, discussions, questions, and tests. For evaluate, maybe you can make use of projects, problems, case studies, simulations, appraisals, critics, and also debates. And for create, maybe you can make use of develop plans, creative exercises, projects, and construct. Okay. Do you have any